Yo, ever felt like you did everything right and she still didn't feel it? It's not about what you say or even what you do. It's about a signal, a trigger, something deep inside her working way below logic. Today, we're diving into the simplest and fastest psychological trigger that flips that internal switch. Backed by Miller's theory and rooted in real desire psychology. This isn't guesswork. It's biology, sexual polarity, and behavioral tension in motion. And if you're still believing attraction is about flowers, compliments, or chasing, this video is going to piss you off before it sets you free. Because once you understand how her brain actually makes that decision, you'll stop playing defense and start owning the entire game. If this hits you like it hit me years ago, consider liking, commenting, and sharing this with someone who's ready to evolve. You never know who needs this wake-up call right now. Make her crave. Sex without saying a word. Miller's hidden trigger. Let's be honest, most men walk into the game of attraction blindfolded, swinging wildly and wondering why nothing lands. They've been taught that being nice, respectful, or safe guarantees results. But here's the twist. Female instinct doesn't respond to comfort. It responds to signal. There's a psychological control switch in her brain that flips when certain subtle behaviors trigger her core unconscious desire. That switch? It's not about looks or money. It's about something else, something most men never even think to access. And that's where the real power starts. The truth? It's not your words that get her to say yes. It's the feeling behind them. That feeling comes from your masculine frame, from how you carry yourself without needing approval. Women don't fall for logic. They surrender to behavioral tension. They lean in when something in you awakens a primal drive in them they can't explain. The kind that feels dangerous, even if you're doing nothing overt. Now ask yourself, do you think she's not choosing you? Or do you just not know how to be seen? Let me paint a picture. You're out, chatting casually. You're polite, smiling, attentive. Basically what every man is told to be. But she doesn't feel it. She thanks you and moves on. Why? Because everything about you screamed, safe but forgettable. You didn't send a single status signaling pulse. No sexual confidence, no nonverbal power, no emotional edge that activates mirror neurons in her brain saying, this one's different. You were good, but she's not wired to chase good. She's wired to chase bold. Boldness is where it begins. Here's the uncomfortable part. If she doesn't feel that subtle charge between you, if there's no seduction science at play, she places you in the friend file automatically. No hesitation, no guilt. Her brain does it before she even knows why. And you can't logic your way out of that. That's why this video isn't about pickup lines or tactics. It's about something far more direct. Understanding desire psychology and how to trigger the part of her that says yes without words. Because if you don't control that part, someone else will. Think about the men who seem to get women effortlessly. They're not always the best looking, richest, or smartest in the room, but they do one thing consistently. They lead with masculine energy. It's calm, grounded, slightly unpredictable, and it creates the exact kind of sexual polarity that magnetizes her. You feel it in the air when they walk in. The room shifts. Not because they're loud, but because their dominance in human form. And Miller's research? It shows this exact pattern plays out biologically in female mate selection. And no, this doesn't mean being aggressive or manipulative. In fact, the opposite. This is about emotional discipline and being fully in control of your urges while radiating the capacity to lead her somewhere she secretly wants to go. That's what activates the attraction trigger. Not desperation, not performance, but presence. Deep, grounded presence. Combine that with minimal validation, what we call validation withdrawal, and you'll be shocked how fast she starts leaning into you without even knowing why. The best part? Most men never even get close to this awareness. Here's where it starts to get interesting. There's a specific moment early on in any interaction where her nervous system decides, safe brother or potential lover. That moment is micro-fast. It's invisible, and it doesn't depend on what you say. It depends on what you transmit. The mating strategy that works isn't about chasing. It's about standing still with precision. When she feels your sexual leadership before you even touch her, you're playing on a level most men don't even know exists. That's the Redpill mindset in motion. Most guys wait for permission to lead, but permission is the opposite of attraction. A man who leads without apology doesn't need to ask if she's comfortable. He makes her feel safe in his presence because he's grounded. That's sexual leadership. And guess what? Her female instinct recognizes it instantly. It's ancient. It's chemical. She's not thinking about it in bullet points. She's feeling it in her body. And when that switch flips, she doesn't need a reason. She just needs a moment. You create that moment. There's this myth that attraction is about building rapport, making her laugh, showing interest. Those things can help, but they don't create desire. Desire doesn't care about logic. It reacts to primal drive and the unspoken message in your body language. That's the territory of nonverbal power. When your presence says, I know what I want, and I don't need your approval to claim it, you shift the polarity instantly. She doesn't analyze that. She feels it. That's the psychological control you've been missing. A client of mine once said, I texted her every day, complimented her, paid for everything. She still ghosted me. I asked, did she ever chase you? He said, no. That's the issue. He gave everything up front. Zero behavioral tension, zero curiosity, no space for her unconscious desire to activate. That guy was unknowingly playing the role of emotional provider, not potential lover. Once he pulled back and rebuilt his masculine frame, everything shifted. She reached out first. Same girl, same guy, different energy. Here's what most men miss. Attraction trigger isn't about pushing buttons. It's about removing noise. You don't need to be slick or impressive. You need to be clear. Clear in intention, clear in energy, clear in presence. She'll feel it before she understands it. And when she does, her body speaks louder than her mind. That's when mirror neurons fire. That's when seduction science kicks in. It's not about seducing her verbally. It's about pulling her into your world without trying. And that begins in silence. Every woman is scanning the environment for contrast. She wants to feel the difference between your presence and the rest of the noise around her. If your vibe says, I'm available, just tell me what to do, you become background static. But if your energy says, I'm complete, with or without your interest, you become signal. That's status signaling, not in the flashy, material sense, in the calm, sovereign sense. That's what triggers emotional leverage. It makes her want to earn your attention, not receive it passively. You ever notice how she gets bored right after the first high? That's because you showed everything too soon. Mystery vanished, curiosity died. What keeps her hooked is emotional detachment combined with unpredictable intensity. You're warm, but not needy. You're grounded, but not boring. That tension drives her crazy in a good way. That's sexual polarity. That's the drug. And here's the twist. It only works if you mean it. You can't fake this stuff. You become the man she wants when you stop needing her to want you. Let's talk about silence. Silence is underrated. Most guys try to fill every gap with words, jokes, comments. But women feel more in the gaps than in the content. A held pause, a slow turn, eye contact that doesn't flinch. That's nonverbal power. And when combined with emotional discipline, it creates the sensation that you see right through her, that you're not rushing, that you choose to be still. In that moment, her entire nervous system either relaxes into trust or spikes with attraction. Both work. You want to take her to bed? Don't convince her. Lead her. Not with pressure, but with certainty. Your certainty is the trigger. Certainty of intention, certainty of presence, certainty of who you are. She doesn't want to think her way into the bedroom. She wants to feel pulled into it by a force she doesn't fully understand. That force is you, if you've built the right mating strategy. And no, it's not complicated. It's just rare, because most men are busy performing, not transmitting. The moment she senses that you're not chasing but standing firm, a door opens in her subconscious. It's not logical, it's biological. You stop being one of the guys and start becoming an experience she doesn't quite know how to label. That's the magic of attraction trigger, fused with psychological control. You're not trying to be different, you just are. And she can't help but notice. That's when female instinct kicks in. That's when she starts imagining things you haven't even suggested yet. Yes, that early. And here's where you either win big or lose invisibly. If you break the frame too soon, you kill the polarity. If you stay grounded in your own red pill mindset, she follows the current. That's why understanding this dynamic isn't just about attraction. It's about power, inner power. When you master this, it shows up everywhere. Dating, business, presence, and you don't even have to say much. Your energy becomes the message. Now real quick, if this content is shifting how you see all this, don't sit on it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment right now. Because what's coming next? It's where this theory turns into real-world impact. Let's keep going. The shift happens quietly. She starts adjusting her posture when you walk in. Her tone changes, her eye contact lingers. Why? Because she's sensing the masculine frame. You're not proving anything. You're not selling. You're just there, fully in yourself, and that's rare. That kind of presence activates her unconscious desire. She might even test you, try to break that frame. But that's not rejection. That's curiosity. She wants to know if what she's feeling is real, or just another show. Hold the frame, and you pass. Every woman tests the man she's drawn to. It's automatic. It's not malicious. It's biological. She's looking for strength, not perfection. She's scanning for emotional discipline, the kind that doesn't flinch when challenged. When you meet her tests with calm clarity, without defensiveness, you send a powerful message. You're safe with me, but I'm not here to impress you. That creates behavioral tension, not stress, tension. The kind that crackles in the air, the kind that makes her lean in instead of pulling away. Let's break it down practically. Next time you're in a conversation with her, slow down your rhythm. Speak 20% slower, hold eye contact 10% longer. Reduce your gestures by half. This forces you into a state of control. It radiates nonverbal power and signals confidence without effort. That silence between your words, that's where her imagination lights up. That's where mirror neurons start doing their thing. Don't rush it. Let the energy speak before you do. That's the moment she starts leaning in. One of the biggest mistakes men make is trying to be too available. Constant texts, over-explaining, seeking reassurance. That energy feels heavy. Instead, start practicing validation withdrawal. It doesn't mean being cold. It means offering space for her desire to grow. When she senses that you're fine, whether she engages or not, she starts thinking about you more. That's emotional leverage. You become the puzzle piece her brain wants to solve. And the more space she has, the more she fills it with thoughts of you. Now imagine this. You're sitting across from her saying very little, just watching. Not in a creepy way, but with calm curiosity. She shifts, adjusts her hair, looks down, then back up. That's female instinct reacting to presence. She can feel your energy without a word. That's what seduction science really means. It's not about manipulation, it's about precision. You're not trying to take anything. You're just showing her how it feels to be seen by a man who doesn't need anything from her. The key to all of this is internal congruence. Your actions, tone, and body language must match your intention. If you say you're confident but your energy screams insecurity, she'll feel it instantly. Women are experts at emotional radar. That's why sexual confidence must be embodied, not spoken. When your inside matches your outside, she relaxes. That's when she opens. Not because you pushed, but because you gave her a container to feel safe in. That container is your masculine energy held with precision. Let's be clear. This isn't a script. This isn't a formula to memorize. It's a new operating system. One where alpha behavior isn't about aggression or control. It's about sovereignty. You don't chase, you choose. You don't react, you observe, and you don't prove, you reveal. This is what Miller's theory points to. That deep part of her mind isn't looking for performance. It's scanning for a signal that says, I'm rooted, I lead, I decide. That's what unlocks her desire faster than anything else. Now let's talk about timing. Most men rush to escalate when they feel attraction. But here's the twist. What you do before escalation matters more. Your ability to hold behavioral tension without breaking it is everything. That pause before the touch, that lingering look before the lean in. These moments spark her unconscious desire in ways a line or compliment never could. That's where the real sexual polarity is born. Not in words, but in the unspoken space that tells her you're in control. There's a reason why some men walk into a room and every woman notices. It's not magic. It's status signaling through subtle confidence. It's the way he moves without rush, the way he doesn't need to scan for approval. It's his relationship with himself. That's what she senses. And the deeper truth is this. When your red pill mindset is locked in, you don't compete, you transmit. You don't chase, you draw in. That's the power of having nothing to prove and everything to offer. Let's get tactical. You want to raise your sexual confidence? Start with micro decisions. Walk slower. Speak with intention. Stop explaining yourself. These are small habits, but they train your nervous system to regulate your energy. When she picks up on that regulation, her mirror neurons start syncing. That's when the polarity gets strong. And remember, no woman feels attraction toward chaos. She responds to centered energy. So before you ask how to turn her on, ask if you've turned your own masculine core on first. You can feel it when a man walks in and owns his space. He doesn't need to flex. His masculine frame is clear, and it holds the room. That's the kind of energy that makes her body respond before her mind catches up. She doesn't think, wow, he's confident. She feels it. And when that happens, her inner story changes. Suddenly, you're not just a guy. You're an experience. That's the outcome of psychological control paired with deep emotional discipline. Remember that desire isn't built in a straight line. It surges, retracts, tests, and grows. Your job is to not interrupt it. Let her test, let her pull back, let her process, but never collapse your frame. That kind of stability builds trust and tension at the same time. You're giving her space to feel drawn in without pressure. That's how emotional detachment works in your favor. Not coldness, but calm distance. A space where her primal drive has room to move toward you. You ever wonder why some guys get better results by saying less? It's because their silence carries weight. They don't try to manage her response. They're anchored in themselves. That stillness radiates nonverbal power, and it communicates one thing: presence. She can feel when a man is fully there, not mentally strategizing or seeking. And that kind of presence becomes sexual polarity in motion. It tells her, you're safe to surrender because I'm solid here. That's what separates a connection from a performance. So how do you practice this in real life? Simple. Choose presence over performance. Pause before speaking. Hold her gaze longer than feels comfortable. Don't chase laughs or nods. Let the tension build. This builds the muscle of emotional leverage. You start anchoring yourself instead of reacting to her energy. That flip changes the entire dynamic. And when it happens, she starts leaning into you in ways that feel effortless. Not because of what you did, but because of what you didn't do. It's easy to think you need more strategies, but you don't need more tips. You need less noise. The truth is, attraction trigger is simple when you stop overcomplicating it. She wants to feel your edge, your calm, your depth. That's what activates her unconscious desire. When you're not chasing, not performing, but simply being, fully rooted in your masculine energy, she responds. Not with logic, but with instinct. And that instinct is older than anything culture has taught her. That instinct is the code. You're not here to impress. You're here to transmit. Transmit clarity. Transmit direction. Transmit intention. That's what she reads. She doesn't need poetry or perfection. She needs polarity. And polarity only exists when you're not afraid to let the space breathe. This is where seduction science lives. Not in what you say, but in how your energy holds hers. When you trust the silence, when you own the moment, you unlock the part of her that she doesn't even show to herself. That's leadership. Let me leave you with this. Most men are stuck trying to win women, but the ones who are truly magnetic aren't playing the game. They are the game. They walk with boldness, lead with sexual leadership, and carry a red pill mindset that redefines the rules. They don't manipulate, they attract through presence, tension, and certainty. That's what this is really about. Owning the mating strategy that comes from deep inner alignment. When you live that truth, the women you want start recognizing you before you speak. And the wild part? She might not even understand why she's drawn to you. That's the beauty of desire psychology. It bypasses her mind and speaks to her body. You don't need to chase what's already coming your way. Just stop interrupting it. Let it unfold, lead with intention, hold the line, and let her feel it all, Sears. Because if you've done it right, she won't be thinking, should I? She'll be thinking, why do I want this so bad? That, my friend, is the sex code. So now the question is, are you going to keep chasing women with empty tactics? Or are you finally ready to embody the energy that makes them chase you? What would happen if you stopped reacting and started leading? If you stopped asking for permission and started owning the room? Drop it in the comments. I choose presence over performance. Let's see who's really ready to flip that internal switch. Seriously, thank you for sticking with me through all of this. If you've made it here, it means something in you is done with the noise and hungry for clarity. That hunger? Respect it. Feed it. Because once you step into this mindset, there's no going back. So if this content spoke to you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. We're just getting started.